Hello, I'm V and I'm a watercolour artist. But today, I'm going to talk about books. If you've watched my last two vlogs, you'll know that I've been rereading this set of books and sharing some quotations with you. However, the way that I've been sharing these quotations, which is by flashing them on screen without organisation or explanation, hasn't sat well with me. I just feel like the randomness of my presentation was doing neither the author nor you, the viewer, any favours. So, for this video, I want to retrace my steps back 2 videos ago and talk about these quotations. I find this set of books fascinating because it not only delivers piercing observations on human relationships, but it also underpins those observations in the spirit of compassion. And that is how I know what I'm reading is not simply clever, but wise. I guess now would be a good time to introduce the author. His name is Chiang Hsun and he is an author, poet and painter who currently lives in Taipei. I'm not sure if he's fond of being referred to as such, but he is commonly referred to as the master of beauty because he writes intelligently and extensively on a breadth of subjects in the humanities, including Western and Eastern art history, poetry, literature, philosophy, calligraphy, and travel. And he writes about these topics in a way that is informative without being pedantic, insightful without being dogmatic, and satisfying without being cliched. I especially admire his ability to take a lump of cold and abstruse information and mould it with his own reflections, stories and questions, thereby lending that lump of cold information warmth and relevance to our everyday lives. Which is why, if I had to describe him, I would call him a pollinator of beauty instead, in the way that he seeks to perceive and attend to the beautiful in almost anything and anyone he encounters, even when it is difficult to do so. As a result, the world opens up to him like a flower, from which he brings out its brightest colour and deepest fragrance. For this set of books, Chiang Hsun turns his pollinating ventures to the 18th century classic Dream of the Red Chamber, written by Cao Xueqing. It is regarded as one of the 4 greatest Chinese classical novels, and it is a work of profound influence in Chiang Hsun's life. Dream of the Red Chamber is a semi-autobiographical story that follows the aristocratic Jia family at the height of their prestige to their eventual cataclysmic downfall, all in 120 chapters. In order to get a sense of the scale and complexity of Dream of the Red Chamber, imagine Downton Abbey multiplied tenfold, and that would get you a more accurate estimate. There are about 40 major characters, almost 800 characters mentioned by name, and some 200 who are not. Furthermore, interwoven into the fabric of the story are elements of myth, prophecy, philosophy, magical realism, and mystery even, because keeping in mind that the author did come from a powerful family that went into ruin, there is speculation of missing chapters which contained secrets about the family and the imperial court that were too damning to be made public. And there is still debate as to what extent the last 40 chapters were written by the original author, since there's evidence to suggest that he passed away before he could fully flesh out and revise the last 40 chapters. So there's no way to be sure if the ending that we know is the ending that the author actually had in mind. It is no wonder that even though Dream of the Red Chamber is a story Chiang Hsun knows so well, he still feels he has yet to know it fully, as each revisitation of the text promises fresh finding and delight. Chiang Hsun's love and friendship with Dream of the Red Chamber has inspired him to write this set of books titled Wei Chen Zhong, which explores Dream of the Red Chamber from the unique perspective of its minor characters, who, despite often being overlooked, are compelling and crucial to the richness of the story. I'm going to pop the first quotation I shared from book 1 over here, and I'll read my English translation of it from this notebook. Dream of the Red Chamber has accompanied me for more than 50 years. From my tender youth to my white-haired old age, it has become my best friend. I find that what I am reading is not simply a book, nor a work of fiction, but the course of someone's life, the course of the author's life, as well as the course of mine. I love this notion of a lifelong friendship with a book, because it is not only a testament to the quality of the book, but also evidence of your own growth. I recall the number of times I've revisited a book only to be surprised by the feeling that I seem to be holding in my hands a rather different book, as I start to notice all the examples of symbolism that had gone completely undetected, as once trivial details acquired new significance, as previously mind-blowing facts become matter of fact, and as the meaning of certain passages branch out to become fuller and more layered. Yet, on second thought, of course my experience of reading the same book will have changed over time. Because I've changed. I've had time to chew on and digest the material, so that with each subsequent return, I am increasingly able to engage and expand on what I'm reading. Which reminds me of a quotation from this book, Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, which goes, "Books are mirrors. You only see in them what you already have inside you." And what's interesting about that idea is that there's so much inside you that is hidden from your consciousness. But what reading does wonderfully is that it pushes those obscure thoughts and unresolved feelings into the spotlight of consciousness, where you can then begin to build your understanding of such thoughts and feelings. When you search for meaning behind the words you read, those words will in turn look for understanding within you. And I think this beautiful exchange is what Chiang Hsun is referring to when he claims that reading Dream of the Red Chamber is like reading the course of not only the author's life, but also his own. So, if you're lucky to have found friendship in books, I do think that is cause for joy, because the greatest gift a book can give you is to bring words to life. And the greatest gift you can give in return is to bring those words into your life. Well, that's all I have time for. I thought I was going to be able to go over more quotations, but I do have to get back to painting. I promise to go over more than one quotation in my next video. Anyways, until next time, bye!